Perspective on Florida Gateway College Television is sponsored by Nutrien. Nutrien, feeding the future.
Hello everyone and welcome to Perspective. This is a public affairs presentation of Florida Gateway College. My name is Mike McKee. I'm your host, and my guests today on the program are representing the theater department here at Florida Gateway College. We have Todd Siff, who is the theater director. We have Seth Matos and Jason Kreitz, who are in the short stories called An Evening with Edgar Allan Poe. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go away.
Mosquitoes will bite day and night, so protect yourself with these tips. Keep mosquitoes outside by shutting doors and covering windows with screens. Use EPA-approved insect repellents anytime you're outdoors. Cover your skin with long sleeves and pants. Mosquitoes lay their eggs in water. Just a bottle cap of water is all they need. So drain, refresh, or cover anything around buildings that can hold water at least weekly, and put away outside items that aren't being used. A message from the Florida Department of Health.
Welcome back to Perspective on Florida Gateway College Television, and welcome to the listeners on WQHL Radio and WCJX. We appreciate you tuning in to the program today. The theater department has really kicked it up. Todd Siff was hired about 2 years ago to produce plays, and he is producing like the Dickens. Todd, you've got the play called An Evening with Edgar Allan Poe, and I wanted to show this. This is a poster that has been created for the play, and it was done by Jason. But this has all the dates and the times. It's in October 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. And it is short stories of Edgar Allan Poe, which he was famous for.
Absolutely. It's 5 different short stories of Edgar Allan Poe, including The Raven, which you might know, The Cask of Amontillado, The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, The Telltale Heart, and we're actually devising an original piece based on The Raven as well. And there's also The Fall of the House of Usher, if you're familiar with that one. And these are 5 of Edgar Allan Poe's most famous short stories or poems. And it's really great because we get to share a piece of literature and put it in front of us in live action on stage and get to see literature reenacted in real life, which is an exciting thing.
Well, again, when I saw the poster come out, I was like, wow, that's a blast from the past. Because I think, Seth was talking about studying a little bit in literature class, but for those students who don't take those classes, who may be doing a CTE program where they don't have to really do literature.
Sure.
This is something that may open their eyes a little bit to the Mccobb of Edgar Allan Poe. And you told me that, I thought this guy doesn't have much of a sense of humor, but you seem to think he had a great sense of humor that was kind of twisted.
Yeah, I think he had a really twisted, dark sense of humor, and I think our modern society relates to that dark sense of humor, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're putting these plays on and celebrating Edgar Allan Poe, especially around Halloween time. But his sense of humor was a little bit more about what is sanity? What is insanity? And a lot of these stories play with this idea of what is sanity and who is really sane and who isn't.
Well, and how sane am I really?
Yes.
When you think about your own, because I think that's what really plays on the play. And it's very effective that we all are a little bit crazy sometimes. And most people can snap every once in a while and get mad and do something, and you're like, whoa, boy, that was out of control. So there's that little bit in everybody that in the back of your mind, you may be nuts.
And one of the stories, The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, which Jason is a star of, actually is about a mental asylum that is taken over by the patients themselves. And a reporter comes to report on this mental asylum, and slowly throughout the play starts to realize, wait a second, I don't know if you guys are the doctors or if you are the patients. So it plays on this idea of what is sanity.
Well, and again, you guys, your background, Seth, is, have you done theater before?
Oh, yes. I've been doing it since 5th grade on and off. I'm within school, outside of school on my own, studying and just performing.
You got the bug?
Oh, yeah. Big bug.
So, and Jason, you didn't have the bug. You were kind of somebody just in class, and what happened?
Yeah, initially I was just in Todd's class, and he needed somebody to help with tech on Alice in Wonderland, and I can't say no, so I ended up helping with that. And
Well, what did you think it was going to be when he said, "Can you help me out with the tech?"
What I would be comfortable with, behind the scenes, where I could hide, and then I got to know some of the people, got involved, auditioned for Our Town, and I kind of implied to Todd that he could make me a tree or a rock. I don't need to have any speaking lines, and he ended up casting me as Mr. Webb, and I gave a monologue to the entire audience. But it was actually a great experience, and you grow through theater.
And you also played the wizard in The Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah, that happened
Well,
as well.
that wasn't a really big part there, but no, Seth.
Yes.
You're out there. I mean, that's just you've got to. What is it about acting? Is it like an escape for you, where you don't have to be Seth, you can be someone else?
It's the beauty of being someone else, as you did say. There's a famous quote that says that the beauty of theater and art is to look at yourself in the mirror, not see yourself, and not be scared, but to be free. And so that quote really connected with me, and I feel as everybody needs to have a creative outlet. That's my most natural and favorite creative outlet.
Now, do you have a certain fear? I mean, are there butterflies with either one of you when you're going on stage? Because it's not like here, and I'm not going to say what just happened, but we just can't stop the tape and rewind it and start over again. I mean, you're out there, and that's it. I mean, if you mess up, you mess up, and you got to. Is there a fear, butterflies in the pit of your stomach?
It happens with everybody. You could practice a part 5,000 times, and that fear of messing up or forgetting lines or whatever it may be does occur, but it's all about preparation, meeting the opportunity, and being in the moment. And when you're truly within character, truly have the play ingrained in you, there's not much messing up that you can do.
Now, Todd, you got guys that are really serious. Is this a good group to work with?
Absolutely. I'm thoroughly impressed with the acting talent that comes from the Lake City area and from FGC. And this play especially, because we have 5 different stories being told, requires a lot of actors. We have 27 actors in the play. And so it
No children.
No children this time.
I mean, last time you were here, we were talking about The Wizard of Oz, and we had kids.
We had 14 children in The Wizard of Oz.
So there's a little better
Yeah.
control over things.
Yeah, the children were really well behaved in The Wizard of Oz. Actually, it was really remarkable.
Now, are you doing all the directing yourself, or are you have helpers with it?
So part of this process was also allowing the students to not only gain experience as actors, but also to gain experience as designers and directors. So for each of these short plays, we have 2 or 3 assistant directors who are helping out in the blocking of the play, are helping out in the motivation of the characters, are helping out in the design of the play, the lights, the sound, the costume, the set. And they get to experience what all of those different elements coming together actually feels like as a director and having that responsibility.
You 2 guys doing any directing, or?
Yes. I am in the process of, with a couple other students, devising the Raven. And what I mean by devising is that we're taking a work of art that is originally not written for the theater, and we are adapting it and devising it to be performed.
Now, what does that involve? Does that involve what you think?
Oh, yes.
Your interpretation of it? But talk about that too. If it's your interpretation, if people like it, wow, what a great feeling.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of pressure on you, isn't there?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but it's really all on opinion. You can't take to heart the disliking of your work, because there's always someone out there who doesn't like it. But it's really a deeply creative and intellectual process of figuring out what the playwright, which is Edgar Allan Poe, really intended for the story to be, and how to convey that to the audience in in a structure that wasn't originally written that way.
What about you, Jason? This is not what you want to do with your life. You want to be a graphic designer?
Yes, I'm majoring in digital media and graphic design, but I do just keep getting pulled back in, and majors can change. But I'm more interested in the design aspects of it and the set building and lighting and things like that. But I'm also I kind of weaseled my way into helping with the Raven, and I'm an assistant director on Cask of Amontillado.
And so you're having to learn to give direction, correct? Which, at a young age, being the boss of someone it's a very thin line of being that overbearing individual and then someone who wants to, come on, can you just do it this way, please? You got to figure leadership.
Right. And you don't want to completely micromanage the person. You want to just kind of point them in the right direction and let them find the character themselves. Otherwise, it's just entirely your creation, and they haven't really put themselves into it.
I see it as kind of, to make a sports metaphor, I think directing is not unlike the quarterback of a football team, where the quarterback needs the wide receiver, needs the offensive line in front of them, needs the running back. They need all of these different parts, and they facilitate the offense. And I think the director is really the facilitator of the process. And if we view, just like Jason had said, if we view every single member of that process as valuable, and the actor is just as valuable as the director, and the designer is just as valuable as the director, then all of us can work together under that facilitation to get that goal, to achieve that goal.
I got to think that this is going to be real dark, and the reason I say that is because the lighting now that we have in the Performing Arts Center, it's no longer, and I made this announcement several times, as loud as I can say it. We've got some really nice lights over there. We've got some LEDs, we've got some movers, and we've got some stuff that do different patterns. They've upgraded the projector over there to where you can project a scene versus having to develop a lot of wooden scenery. But I could see this kind of be real scary, like a spooky night.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to, we move into the theater next week, but we look forward to designing lightning strikes and thunder with strobe light effects, and we look forward to designing different elements in terms of dim lighting, candle lighting, lantern lighting. All of these things play into the time of Edgar Allan Poe, and so it gives us a lot of opportunity to play with different design elements. We also have an artist, Matt Killian, who is developing projections for the production as well.
I know Matt Killian.
You know Matt Killian?
I know Matt Killian.
Awesome.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue, and we'll actually get one of our actors to do a reading from the play. And so you get a first-hand look from one of the actors of what to expect on the 24th through the 27th. We'll be right back with more on Perspective.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Perspective on an eerie type of program today. We've got representatives of the Florida Gateway College Theater Department, Todd Seif, who is the director. We have, or Sif, I'm sorry, and we have Seth Matos, and we have Jason Kreitz, who are in the play. A bunch of short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. How difficult is this? Because you've got different stories. You're not rehearsing them all at the same time, are you?
We are not rehearsing them all at the same time. We're rehearsing them one at a time for 2 hours a day. So Monday, for example, is Cask of Amontillado, and then we have The Raven after that. And then we have 2 different stories on Tuesday, 2 different stories on Wednesday. And we're actually rehearsing another play at the same time. We're rehearsing Christmas Carol, which will happen December 5th through 8th, at the exact same time that we're rehearsing these plays. So we have 2 going at the same time.
So your degree is in logistics.
Pretty much.
Because you think about the rehearsal schedule, And then you got to think about, well, Seth is involved in this, but he's also an assistant director in this. And Jason, you're the same way. You're performing in one, and then you're helping to direct another.
It took me about 5 hours to situate all of the assistant directors for the plays that they wanted to assistant direct, so that their rehearsal time would be on the same day as the piece they're acting. So they would act and direct on the same day and still only have to be at 1 day of rehearsal.
How different are these short stories?
From each other?
Yeah.
Pretty different. There are some that feature murder and some that feature burying someone alive. There's some that are a little bit more comedic, actually, like The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, which you get to witness about 10 different mental asylum patients taking over this asylum, and some of them bounce like frogs, and some of them sing songs, and there's all sorts of craziness that's involved. So I think all the stories are very unique to themselves.
Now, would it be good for people to brush up on their Poe before they come to kind of have an idea of what each one of them is about?
If you are so inclined, I think that's a wonderful idea, is to read up on some Poe. But I think just seeing the play on its own will give you a whole new world of what Poe is.
It may get you to
read
more.
Into Poe,
yeah.
for sure.
So talk about the play in terms of the high schools. Understand we're doing something a little bit different. I think when you had one of the plays, you had a bunch of middle school, Alice in Wonderland, you had a bunch of middle school kids that came out and were exposed to theater for the first time.
Right.
And the kids had a great time.
Yeah.
You got a little older group now that is going to be kind of a little sneak preview.
Yeah, I wanted to link up something that middle schools and high schools are actually reading in their classroom, so that students have the opportunity not only to read the literature, but to see the literature in front of their eyes and experience literature in front of themselves. And so I think Edgar Allan Poe is that perfect conduit to be able to get these two things together.
Okay, well, let's not wait any longer. You need to stand up to do this, Seth?
It would be preferable, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
Seth is going to do a short piece from...
Yes, a monologue.
A monologue
from
From the Telltale Heart.
Okay, let's see. You want to go ahead and stand up?
Sure.
And we'll see about... He's going to... You got to get motivated. Do we need to do anything?
Are we cut right now?
No. We're still going. But so you're getting
Yes,
getting
I'm
ready.
Just preparing.
Okay, there we are.
True. Nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. I had been and am, but why will you say that I'm mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not dulled, not destroyed them. Above all was my sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. You see, it is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object, there was none. Passion, there was none. You see, I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold, I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, one of his eyes resembled that of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever that eye fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, very, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and rid myself of that eye forever. Now this this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a little haunting there.
It's haunting, yeah.
Well, when you first started, I was like, he's not really nervous, and then but you pulled that one off pretty good. So what? It's a different sort of English that we don't hear anymore, except maybe in a song. So would you equate a lot of his writings and his short stories to a rhythm?
Sure, yeah. There's a lyrical quality to all of his words that he writes, and I think at the time, poems and short stories had that lyrical quality. You can think of Charles Dickens as well, who was around a similar time, writing at the similar time, and they have this lyrical quality to them that I think is special. And I think we've been exploring that in rehearsal and how to modernize that language so that it's actually understandable to our modern audiences.
Yeah, that was Seth. That was very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, that was one scene that you played by yourself, or is it a one-man show?
It's more of a really long monologue with some interruptions here and there. But yes, that's the first scene that we've broken up that gives context and exposition to the story and the mental state of my character. And so yeah, that's just the first little monologue.
That's putting yourself out there like that for that. And again, you're not sure how you're gonna be reacted to. I mean, what is the audience gonna do? How do you react to the reaction? I mean, when you're looking out in the audience, are you getting pumped when you see people look like they're enjoying it? Or I mean, when these particular stories, they're probably like, oh my God, I'm fearful. I'm fearful.
Yes. Well, I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel that the key to acting on stage is not only playing off the presence of the audience, but not allowing the audience presence to affect your work. So you wouldn't want to, let's say you're performing a comedy scene. You don't want to upplay the comedy because of the laughter, because then it loses its authenticity. And so I feel the same way with whatever genre we're performing, that you want to consider the audience in your presentation, but don't let them affect how you've practiced and performed and your vision, your creative vision of how that character acts.
Well, Todd, you mentioned that you're going to do a Christmas show this year as well. That's pretty. I mean, you've taken a lot on here. What's the Christmas program going to be?
It's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
Oh, so it's keeping the same theme, the same time.
And it's another opportunity for elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools who perhaps are reading A Christmas Carol or any other Charles Dickens to also attend. We're going to have a school performance for that as well.
Now, that is going to be in December?
December 5th through 8th.
And how many cast members do you have in that?
That one is 32 cast members.
Wow.
Yeah. We had 60 in Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and tickets are on sale through the ThunderTix portal. Mm-hmm. If you would like to get tickets, you can go to the college website, and I think it's fgc.edu, thundertix.com. There we go, fgcthundertix.com. And again, the 24th, and I guess the Halloween is the 31st this year, which is the following week. But you can get in the mood for being scared. I can hardly wait to see what you've got with this play, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you so much. I meant to ask you, are you going to go into theater?
Yes, my major is fine arts, so I'm completing my AA, but I plan on continuing a bachelor's.
And you're still teetering now, maybe performing arts, but you want to...
At FGC, I'm going to specialize in digital media and design, but in the long run, it is going to be fine arts with a focus on art education.
Okay. Well, good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
And Todd, thanks for coming. I hope you'll come back and do a pre-look at the Dickens play that you're doing in December. And thank you for watching Perspective on Florida Gateway College Television. Until next time, I'm Mike McKee. So long.